Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for putting up with me. I just got here from Greenville, so I was on the road, and with the rain all down 85, there was wrecks, all kinds of stuff going on. But I am honored and excited to be here. It was a little bit of a divine moment. It was very sporadic. We were on the call. I was thinking I was on the call talking to her about helping her church, and it ended up going, "Can you come to Atlanta this week?" And I was like, I guess I can. So, I I know. So I'm just honored. In fact, it was as a pastor, I think that's a part of y'all's fellowship here, or that she knows that works with us, and had a lot of success. I mean, he was. The messages we got from him last week was just wow, like he couldn't believe it. And I'm going to share a little bit about that today, our agency. But more importantly, I want to really give you value. I want to share with you everything that we do for church. I want to literally try to make myself as if I was on your staff in your corner and give you the whole book, not hiding nothing. I'm going to give you the principles, the strategy to the best I can without overwhelming you on how do we help churches grow in the digital age? How do we use these platforms, these new town halls to reach people in our community? And how do we go knock on doors so we don't rely on just the congregation having to go get people to grow our church, but maybe we can do something about it too, right? So, let me just preface, we are a small agency, started in 2020 during the COVID. Although it was birthed in 2017, 2018, I only worked with businesses at the time. Did so well, freed me up to actually serve in my ministry, my church, at a deeper capacity. I started a youth ministry there and was working with troubled youth and young kids. And our church is very small. They couldn't afford to hire someone to do that, but the agency provided a salary for me and my wife and the free time for me to take on that burden and do that. It wasn't until COVID hit that we had a church reach out to us that said, "Hey, Kelby, we know you do this marketing stuff. Can you help us?" 5 Point Church in Easley. And we said, "Yeah, sure, we'll give it a try." Went super well. This church is 3,000 members. They have more than enough resources to hire someone to come on their team and do this, but they saw the success that we were bringing them and the consistency and the results, and they kept us 2 years until they really expanded. I mean, they bought a whole Walmart building suite, big lots, they just bought it all, and they just blew up. And that gave me this thought of, God, is this something you want us to pursue? Spent some time in prayer, talking to my pastor, talking to leaders around me, and decided to take that step of faith of working with churches. What does this look like? I was hesitant because the word marketing in church, it bumps heads sometimes, especially here in the Bible Belt. It's like, no, we don't need to do that. The Lord will grow the church. And I understand that. Yes, He will. And so I was hesitant to do this because I was like, they're not going to care. But lo and behold, a lot of churches did care, especially when they found out we were really good at what we did. So today I want to share, what do we do? How do we help? We get to work with over 150 churches now, have a team of 30 plus people, a lot of us right here in South Carolina. And I am obsessed with this one word, and that is attention. I believe before you can do anything, whether you are selling a service, you are trying to get an idea across, you're a nonprofit, a business, a church, you have to get someone's attention. And you have to learn how to get attention. I believe Jesus, our Lord, was really good at this. And He would do all kinds of things that got people's attention. That was not His problem, but today it is a problem. And we wrestle and fight amongst each other on how do we do this? How far do we go? And I want to break down kind of our approach on how we do this, especially in the digital age. It is no longer a secret that your smartphone is now one of the most important devices in the world. In fact, there are some people that would rather lose their wallet than lose their phone. For good or for worse, I'm not here to choose sides. I'm just saying this is the facts. More importantly, it's what's on that, which is the internet. The internet is changing it's changing the world. It's changing how poverty is. There are people in Africa, India, Philippines that are making $20 a day by just posting to YouTube videos, and that is more than enough for them to be able to, it is changing everything. I'll put it to you like this. The internet is so powerful and social media is so powerful that the strongest nation in the earth right now decided a couple weeks ago, we got to kick this thing out. I don't know if any of you guys heard about the TikTok thing that was happening, But the reason why the officials got together and said we got to kick this thing out is because they were scared that it can almost overtake democracy. If we let this thing that has so much influence into our country, it can destroy everything. And so it's silly sometimes for businesses or leaders to sit back and say, yeah, but that ain't going to help me. It's that powerful. And if you know how to do this right and you care and you take into account some of these principles, I believe you'll succeed in this area and you will not have a problem getting attention. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into the first thing. I have 6 on your desk. I'm going to go through 6 of these frameworks. This first one I want to talk about is mindset. I alluded to it a little bit when I just talked about how I was afraid to take that first step to working with churches because I already knew the heat that I was going to get. We don't need marketing. The Holy Ghost will grow our church. We don't need that. God will do it. And a part of me is, yes, He will. Do you not think God wants to have your church grow? Do you not think He wants you to reach the community, reach the territory He's called you to? I believe He does want that. But now what is our part? And so I want to talk about mindset because it is the most frustrating thing for me when I get on, and I've gotten the privilege to talk to probably over 700 pastors now, either one-on-one or on virtual calls or in gatherings like this. And I just see that they don't really care, or they just don't know that they need to care. And so I want to talk about the mindset here, right? To grow your church's influence in today's digital world, you must embrace the reality that your personal presence as a pastor matters online. So this is the first thing that I want to just present to you, is that your face is an asset to your ministry. Whether you like it or not, I dare say that a lot of people choose the church they go to based on the leadership. I believe that's at the top of why they go to that church. If you did a survey and asked people why they go to that church, I would bet that a lot of them would say leadership. I like Pastor so-and-so, Bishop so-and-so, Apostle so-and-so. I just trust them. They teach the word. Their character is, I believe that's the first thing. The second thing I believe is community. People there look like me. People there get it. They're real, or vice versa. And then the last thing I believe is family. My mom goes there. My grandmother been going to this church. My dad's the pastor, right? But at the first, I think it's that leadership. And so sometimes when I say, all right, this first thing of being able to effectively market and get your attention is you got to realize people love faces more than logos. When I say the word Apple, which person comes to mind? When I say the word Microsoft, when I say the word Facebook, when I say these different companies, you have no idea who these people are. You've never met them. But when you think of them, it comes a face, a face. Oftentimes, churches spend so much time on just logos. And I get it. Logos are pretty cute, cool. But I think we overdo that part. And we underestimate our face and who we are. Now, this can get a little bit of pushback because I talk with Pastors Kelby. I don't want to be the face. I don't want to have my face everywhere. I don't want that. And I get that. I'm so empathetic for that. I always tell the pastors I work with, hey, look, you need to honor the Holy Spirit and the convictions He's given you, right? You need to make sure you're consulting with Him and making sure this is an area you want to step in because it will come with its burdens and you got to count the cost before you do that. So you want to first have this idea that, okay, people connect with faces. They connect with leaders. They connect with people. And more importantly, they connect with the pastor. They really like their leaders. They take honor in that. My pastor is so-and-so. In fact, Paul had such a problem with this because at one point in the scriptures, he was writing letters saying, hey, look, I'm glad I didn't baptize none of you. You out there fighting about, I'm with Paul and I'm with Peter because that's just how humans are. Now, he corrected it, right? He corrected it, but he still didn't just, he didn't dismiss it. He just corrected it. He knew they would follow after him. He knew that he had influence. He knew that they cared about him. And he knew that that was a level of influence God had given him and that he had to steward that well. So this is the first thing that we got to embrace is, guys, you gotta be out front with the digital and your marketing. They want to see you. Who's the leader? Most people in today's world are very skeptical of churches because of all the bad headlines. And we got to fight against that. We got to fight against that. The only way to fight against that is by showing up and proving, hey, here I am. Here's my stuff. Here's what I'm like. And the more you can do that, the more people can trust you, right? So let's keep going. People are drawn to churches, not just for community, but because they trust and connect with the leader. Passing off social media to a volunteer may seem convenient, but your face, voice, leadership are some of the most powerful tools your church has. The more you show up through video content, images, the more trust you build. Influence begins with presence, and in the digital space, you must be present to be influential. I see this all the time. My youth pastor handles that. The kids pastor does that stuff. The secretary, she does that. And I get it. It's convenient. But if you want to win, you got to be active in this thing. The CEO of T-Mobile, they had him in the kitchen cooking breakfast for a couple of months. And the marketing team was really pushing him to do this because they also know this to be true. People want to see who you are. We got to get you out there, for better or for worse. And if not you, let's find someone we can trust. Let's find someone who has the skill set, the character, who has all those things that can do that for us, right? But just to pass it off nonchalantly is not gonna help us. It's gonna hurt, right? So mindset is, I gotta be an active participant in this social media digital stuff. I can't just keep saying I ain't got the time. Oh, I need you to do this video. I ain't got time. I gotta study for the sermon. Because that's what we keep hearing. And I get it. It's important. You gotta study for a sermon. You gotta do your thing. But this also is up there. Like, it's up there, right? Mindset. Number 2, social media. This can have a backslash and say platforms. We got to go to where the people are. So many times it's like, I just want them to come to me. I want them to come to me. I don't want to go to them. And I get it. Back in the day, maybe they would go knock on doors. Maybe they would go visit people like that. Today, we don't do that as much, but there is a digital version of that we can do. And it's first acknowledging that social media is the new town halls of today. Not just one platform, but all of them. They always ask me, Kelby, which platform would you have our church on? It's not, I tell them, it's not this or that, it's this and that, everywhere. You want to be everywhere. TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Rednote, all of them. The more you can be on, we'll get into some of these little things here in a second, but you want to be in all of them because that's where people are. And by the way, Facebook and Instagram are great, but the younger Gen Z, and they don't want to be where their parents and grandparents are. And they don't want them to see their stuff. They don't uncles and all that. They don't want to be there. That's how I know there will always be another social media app, because young people will keep finding ways to escape wherever their parents are at. Right? They will. They'll just keep finding ways. They don't want to be there, right? And it's up to us to be able to just have an ear to the market and see, all right, where are people gathering today in this digital realm? I believe that the digital realm is way more influential than we even give it credit for. In fact, I feel like the calling that God has given me in this next season is to get pastors to realize that, because right now, a lot of our ministries come to us because we are good at helping them get butts and seats. That is why they are willing to exchange dollars for services, because we're good at that. But I believe that next level is when they start to embrace, oh, wait a minute, I don't need Charlie to step in my building in order for me to have a real impact in his life right where he's at. Imagine the letters Paul wrote when he couldn't be present. How much impact do you think that made? Watch this. In the book of Revelation, did not our Lord say, write these letters to these churches and let's see what happens? Right? So today, we overlook the digital realm as just some little cute place where people go to dance, play games, or just like catch up. I don't know. And I would say this is where people are going to find their spouse. This is where people are going to meet friends. This is where people are going to get educated. This is where people are going to get indoctrinated with news and different ideas. It's everything right now. And the data shows us a lot of Americans spend 4 to 8 hours almost a day on these platforms. So social media is no longer just entertainment. It is where people live their lives. It's where they build relationships, find news, engage with what matters to them. As a church, you cannot afford to ignore these spaces where your community is spending their time. Whether or not we like social media is irrelevant. And I get it. I'm with you. Like, well, I don't like what TikTok's doing. I get it, Pastor. I'm with you. I don't like it either. But yes, sir.
Are any churches doing anything on the metaverse?
No, we don't push metaverse yet because it's still too early, and I don't. I have no one I know that's putting on goggles and like embracing that yet. So they tried, but it's. I think we got another 10 years. We got another 10 years, right? Yes, sir. So to keep pushing it off and saying, well, I don't believe that. I'm not necessarily here to just ask like, well, what? How do you feel about it? I'm just saying, what can we use? Paul said, I become all things to all men just to win them to Christ. I just take my feelings out of it. You want me to eat meat with you? All right, I eat meat. You want me to not eat meat? I won't eat meat. What I got to do to get to you and win your heart over for the Lord. So social media, we can't keep passing it off. What matters is that it is where people are. Churches that recognize this and show up consistently will be the ones that connect, grow, and reach people in their city. If you want to reach people, you must go to where they already are. Where they already are. Just go to them, and that is on social media today, right? So be an active participant. It should be in your mindset, a part of your plans. Like, how are we on social media? How are we? Are we just you want to make sure that it is a part of my health check. Okay, we got this. Leadership's doing good. Okay, good. How's our online presence? Let's get a pulse on that. Not just like, I guess they post. We doing the live? Are we still doing the live stream? Yeah, okay, we're good. We want to actually know. We want to actually be active, right? Okay, let's go to number 3. I am obsessed with this one. I would dare say this is one of my personal skill sets is content. The guy with the camera over there, people with just their phones take it like content is the variable for success for everything that I'm going to talk about when it comes to the digital realm, the digital platforms. If you do not know how to create content, everything I'm talking about is going to be irrelevant because you won't have the engines that move it. Content, videos, pictures, graphics, flyers, slides. These are the things that get people's attention, inform them, educate them, and also call them to action. So when it comes to content, there's good content and there's bad content. Okay? And a lot of us will come to the table with with already an idea of what good content is. Right? We see how Bishop T.D. Jakes and them got their stuff set up, so that's what we got to be like. Or we see how Elevation Church has their stuff set up, so that's what we got to be like. But I'm here to challenge you in that. Let your audience tell you how you got to be at. The most beautiful thing about social media is that people will give you feedback. I believe this past weekend, this was the worst Super Bowl for advertising I have ever seen. The ads were terrible. And I believe that is because, and this is a great opportunity for people who take advantage of this. This is how I know our company is going to be really well fit for what's getting ready to come, is because those companies, Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, Doritos, and like all those guys, they did not first put their ad on social media to see what people think about it. They just got in a room like this. They had 7 people that live a certain lifestyle and are sometimes out of touch with culture and out of touch with what's happening, and they all decided what would be good. We think this would be good. And they did not go to their audience and ask them what would they like. And it's hard to do, except now with social media, you can do that. So why am I saying this? I will sit with pastors and be like, Pastor, we gotta do some videos. We gotta do some, okay, I'll get to it. Okay, I'll set the time up. And then I dig deeper. And what I tend to find is, well, actually, I don't like the way I look. Actually, I don't want the judgment that's gonna come in the comment section. I don't want to mess up. What I find is this spirit that is holding back leaders from producing content because they are living in fear of something. And I get that. I am very empathetic to that. I am trying my best today to be more empathetic and strategic about how we approach this, because it's very real. It's very real. Not just for women, but for men too. I sit down with all of them. They're like, I don't know. Can we not use that? I don't want to do the right. But once you realize that it is the thing that will help your church reach the masses, you'll just step over that hump and say, you know what? Let God. I just trust God. You're so afraid of the mistakes that you make in content because you're looking at certain companies or certain pastors or bishops or organizations and you see how perfect they are that you don't want to release yours. Well, I ain't got the lighting like they got, and I ain't got the nice camera like they got. And I tell so many pastors, your phone is one of the greatest assets to your digital ministry. These things have 4K, 60 frames per second. They have invested so much money into capturing content on your phone, and we overlook that. And content, if you can obsess with this, content is the variable for success. You have to be able to produce content. I am talking to pastors today now, and I'm like, your live stream ain't going to cut it no more. Why? Well, number one, it's not intended for what it was originally made for. Meaning when Facebook said, you know what, we're going to have people start going live. They did not want someone talking to people in a room and then the camera be the third party just listening to me talk to you. That was not their idea. Their idea of me going live was looking directly at the people online and talking to them and seeing in the comment section, oh, Sister Therese, thank you so much for joining me. Praying for your mom. That's what they wanted. We don't do that. Right now, most churches, they just go live and it's pastor talking to the people in the room and they could care less about the online people. They don't even look at the camera and talk to them. I try to encourage pastors all the time. Every now and then in your sermon, you need to look at that camera and say, I know you're online. I'm praying for you too. I want you to put in the comment section. You need to engage with those guys. That's how you do a real live stream, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is because the second part of content is realizing supply and demand. There is a plethora of pastors, and one of the greatest things right now is I have access to some of God's greatest teachers right from my phone. Greatest teachers on the earth. Some are even passed away. I can go pull up Billy Graham stuff. I can go pull up Dr. Miles Monroe stuff. Why would I want to listen to just, Joe Schmo down the street? I don't even know. These are real questions that we have to ask and embrace. Because now in a world of so much content, you got to really think, okay, I can't just show up and do my Bible study all the time and just expect people to show up. I got to give them reasons. I got to really resonate with them. I got to figure out what is it that they are not already getting on the timeline that I can bring value to. How can I do that? Right? This is the strategy of content. You first just have to embrace the idea that we got to produce videos and pictures. Videos especially. In social media, these companies are not nonprofits. They are for-profits. They have shareholders and they have obligations. But they do not have nothing against Christians and churches, at least not Facebook and Instagram. In fact, they have a whole faith-based department led by a pastor named Nona Jones in Florida. And they know that their Christian community is so big on Facebook that they can't ignore it or they can't disrespect it. They'll lose half of their people. But they don't appreciate how every church is just taking advantage of them. Meaning this, whenever I go check out a church's face, and it doesn't matter, I'll sit down with churches and they're like, can you go to Passion City? Can you go to this? And I'll pull up the biggest church and I'm like, they're doing it wrong. Every piece of content is just selfish and about them. Hey, join our Bible study. Hey, you missed the conference. Oh, did you remember what pastor said this past Sunday? Or here's where you can volunteer. Here's where you can give. Every piece of content is always asking for something from people. And then they wonder, I'll check out a church page, 10,000 followers, and I'll go look at the post and 7 people liked it. Now, how does that make sense? And then they're like, Facebook got a problem with Christians. No, they don't. They got a problem with people who post stuff but only care about them. They don't actually care about that person on the other side of the phone. That's what they have a problem with. And they're getting really good at sniffing this out, right? So this is the mindset shift or the strategy behind content. You first just have to accept the idea like, I got to produce a lot of this stuff. Pictures, videos, graphics. I got to find creative ways to do it, right? And I got to be consistent. The live stream once a week ain't going to cut it. Sermon clips ain't going to cut it anymore. AI is producing sermon clips left and right. It's a plethora of sermon clips floating around. But you know what's not floating around? Pastors looking at people online like, hey, I know you're going to work this morning real quick. I want to just share this with you. I know you might have a boss. You might be dealing with a situation and just a quick Bible verse for them, a quick moment of encouragement. No one's doing that. But everyone's got their sermon clips floating around and got their, you know what I'm saying? So supply and demand. Content, again, is the variable. I'll put it like this. Content is the currency of influence in the digital space. To be effective, your church must consistently produce engaging content, videos, graphics, and posts that tell your story and communicate the gospel in a way people understand. Jesus met people where they were, and today that means showing up in their social feeds. The churches that grow online are those that prioritize content creation. If you're not creating content, you're invisible. Start sharing your sermons, testimonies, and church culture to let people see who you are before they ever step through your doors. One of our strategies, by the way, we do a lot of this. This is one of the reasons why churches come to us, because we create, there's not a single day where one of our churches that partner with us do not have something going out online. We are constantly producing content, and we are constantly getting together and deciding what is a good piece of content. I'll give you an example. I love memes, and I like to use memes strategically. Some of our pastors will be like, well, Kelby, we're not here to be funny, and I get that. But I'll push back with this. Are you here to be effective? What if I can get my meme to work better at getting your congregation to read the Bible than you actually building a flyer saying read the Bible? And we tested this, and we do it. We get flyers that'll say, hey, read your Bible, and then we got a Joshua Bible verse that keep this on your lips, and okay, we post it, and people scroll by, 2-3 likes. Then we'll do one, it's just a white background like this. We take an awkward picture of pastor just looking like this. We cut them out, we put them right here in the middle, and then at the very top, one sentence. Get off this app and read your Bible. You see that reaction? People smile, laugh. You go to the comment section, they're like, all right, pastor, I'm getting off right now. Right? This is the mindset about how you create content. And really it just comes down to offering value to people. I'll give you a golden nugget. The way we offer value, 3 E's. If you can stick to your content being these 3 E's, you will win. If 70% of the posts that your church makes stick to these 3 E's, you will win at getting attention. The first E is entertaining. This is a tough one. You don't have to start dancing. You don't have to start doing stuff out of character. But there are moments where you can be a little entertaining, a little funny, you can make someone smile. I just shared a meme. A hack that we're doing with pastors is making them do react videos. We go find 5 viral videos online and we send it to pastor and we say, don't open these yet. I want you to turn on your phone camera and record yourself, put it on the tripod, and then I want you to open these and I want you to watch them. And when you get done watching the video, I want you to look at the camera and drop your 2 cents. What did you just think about the video you just watched? And we send them all kinds of funny videos. We'll send them a funny one. We'll send them maybe a more theological one. We might send them a more emotional one. This is what we call entertaining content, right? I'm not here asking for stuff from you. Pastor's not showing up on your feed. Hey, do this, do that, right? It's just blessing your timeline with something that is entertaining without having to step in out of character and do all these extra things. Right? I would say 50% of the reason why people go to the internet is to learn something. How do I change my tire? How do I find the nearest mechanic near me? How do I set up this play crib or whatnot? Right? We are always going to the internet to learn something. So if you can produce educational content, it's usually good. People love that, especially if you can niche it down to what people might be going through. So you might produce something educational that is completely irrelevant to what most people might be going through. But if you can produce something educational that is very relevant or niche to a certain person, it will work. So for example, maybe I might do a post where, hey, this is for all my dads out there. Just by starting off my post with that, I automatically eliminate a couple people, but not even eliminate women or moms too, because they're curious and they just want to still stick around. It's funny how that works, but I also immediately grab the attention of all dads now. They're like, all right, this one's for me. Because right now what we do is just produce a bunch of generic content, hoping we throw it and hope it sticks to someone. I hope Gen Z likes it. I hope Sister Susan likes it. I hope that, So education, the more niche you can bring it down, the more relevant you can make it to a certain audience, the better it will perform. All this is about getting attention. By the way, the last E is encouragement. If you go to YouTube right now, you will type in motivational videos. You will see they are some of the most viewed videos on that platform. Inspirational videos, some of the most viewed videos on that platform. People need encouragement. They are going through life beat up. The enemy is after them. They don't know what to do. They're just trying to, figure stuff out. They got all these voices coming left and right to get. People just need encouragement sometimes. They just need encouragement. They need their faith built. They need to be reminded that, hey, look, he ain't forgot about you. You're not alone. You think what you're going through is just for you. No, we're all going through this together. They need that, and they will reward that. When you post that type of stuff, you will see people react totally differently. So entertaining, educating, and encouraging. If you stick to 70% of your content being those 3 E's, you will win with social media and people. And it's very important that you win with social media and those algorithms, because they will reward you as well. We've had several churches go viral, meaning they have 700 followers, but we strategically design a post or do something, and they reach 100,000 people with this single post. And we have so many stories of this through just strategically thinking about this word content. The next thing is attention, and I should have put this probably at number 3, but I'm glad it's number 4. Attention is the currency of the world. That's a good way that I can put this for you. Attention, if you can get attention, you will have no problems. I was talking to a group of leaders this morning in a session, and I said, do you ever remember like Jesus talking about how they got money? But you know they had it, because you would see Bible verses pop up that say, and Judas was the treasurer, and they wanted to buy bread, but they were far from the marketplace. And you'll see indications that, well, they had the money. But where'd that come from? Well, it doesn't matter, because he had the attention. Money will come, and the other things will come, resources, volunteers, all that stuff will come if you can learn to get attention. Again, it is the currency of not just church, but the world. This is why actors get paid the most money. They are great at getting attention. That's why they slap them right on the front cover of every movie. It don't even have to be good. As long as they know Leonardo's in it or someone else is in it, that you know, Denzel or Will's, someone's going to pay attention, right? Attention is something that we do have to kind of obsess over if we want to win. If we want to win. How do we get attention? I don't think Jesus had a problem at all with this. Now, granted, Jesus was doing some wild stuff during his time when he was walking on earth, right? And I tell pastors this, we don't have that type of, if you go to a funeral in Atlanta and you just walk right in and you say, get up, and he just gets up, hey, your church will be fine, I promise you. Right? You know? Or if you show up and that's right, you got to capture the content, right? You'll be fine, right? Or if someone is missing an arm and you cause that thing to grow, hey, you'll be good. Attention will come, right? And so we may not have that grace right now, but what do we have? What can we do to help get attention, right? What can we do? What can we offer to people to get attention? We don't have to start dancing and breaking character. We just need to obsess over what would they like? What can I bring to them in their life that would allow them to exchange this currency called attention with me? What can I bring to them that is worthy of their attention? So many pastors and ministry leaders and businesses have a little bit of an entitlement that I deserve attention because I am doing this great thing, or I went to this school for this many years, or I am anointed by God. And look, no one cares. That's the real reality. Nobody cares. This is a harsh truth that we have to embrace. I'll put it to you like this. When I first started the agency, I knew I would not get a lick of attention. I had nothing. I was by myself. I had no case studies, and no one deserved to listen to me. So I decided to just make a post that said something crazy at the top, like, and that's what all pastors say, and then ... And I knew it would just catch the attention of pastors the moment they saw that quote, and they would just want to at least give me 5 seconds to listen to the video. And then I would talk to them and share with them about what we do. It was a strategy. In fact, this recent one that we did last year, we had 1,500 pastors sign up, reach out to us, to our agency. We don't get to work with all of them, obviously, because we are a service-based company, and you know we do have pricing and all that stuff, and not everybody can afford that, and I get that. But this last one we did was very strategic, and it's also part of just probably what God's doing in my life. But at the top of the post, the video is a video, and then at the top was a big black wording that said, "Why we fired several churches this past year." ... And you can imagine all like, what? How does that work? Fire church? Let me hear what this guy has to say real quick. And that is the secret of just getting attention. If I can just get the attention first, I can always ask for forgiveness. I can always talk. I can always share. I can always go deeper. But if I just get the attention first, because that's the thing that I need. I just have to get attention, right? One of the secret hacks to learning how to get attention is model after people who are doing it well, or other things that are doing it well, and then modify it. So you don't have to be like the world. You don't have to be like that other church, but just model what they're doing that's working and then modify it to fit who you are, what you guys are doing. Model and modify is a strategy that we use in the agency constantly. We don't have to invent anything because it's already been out there. So attention. Before you can reach people, you must first capture their attention. The most powerful message in the world means nothing if no one hears it. I mean, I think Jesus was very strategic about, I got to go to Jerusalem, and then I got to go here, and then I got to go there, because these are where this is where they're gathering, and I got to do some stuff. But they'll kill you. I got to go. All right? If no one hears it. Attention is the currency of today's digital world, and getting it requires one thing, value. There's two ways to get attention. The secular and the world uses three main ways that they do this. Number one is through lust or through attractiveness. You will see this on almost all the products out there. They'll use someone very attractive, or they'll do something very, I don't know, they'll hire some model, and that'll get our attention because it is speaking to instincts and human nature. And they use this a lot. The second thing they'll use is social proof. In fact, there's a law inside of the United States where social proof is so powerful that if they catch you doing some of these practices, you can be criminally prosecuted. For example, let's say I'm gathering today with you guys, and I have a product to sell at the end of this gathering. But before I got here with you guys, I talked to 4 people in the room, and I said, at the end, I'm going to ask everyone if they would like to buy my product, and I want you 4 to stand up and walk to the front. You know what happens when people see other people doing stuff? They just naturally do it too, right? That's how powerful social proof is, and the world uses this a lot. It is not necessarily bad. You can use this strategically too, for your ministry, for your initiatives, right? I think pastors already feel this sometimes. They're like, I don't want to see the empty seats on the camera. Can we do another angle where it's not, right? Because they kind of already understand that inherently. But there's other ways you can do it. Your website. I think the church websites definitely, and we'll get to that at the end of this, sometimes miss this whole thing of social proof. I'll go to a website and it's like a fancy mountain with a cross. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with, I get it. It's cinematic and cute and it's got symbolism. But what you need to do is maybe you show the people that look like the people in your church or that you're attracting. Maybe you show them, right? Even if it's just a photo on your phone. It's way better than the stock stuff that you're putting, even though that's all cinematic and high production. So, great content is not about what you want to say, it's about what people want to consume, which leads me to that other part, which is value. I just talked about that. If you could provide value to people in their lives, you will get attention. I'll give you an analogy of a mechanic. Talk with a mechanic. We were trying to tell them, you need to create content telling everyone how to fix their cars on their own. You're going to share with them how they can change their tires, how they can change their oil, how they can not get ripped off by the oil man with the air filter whenever they go and pay $60. You need to share it all. He's like, well, then they won't come to me. I was like, I got good news. Right now you have 5 people coming to you a week. If you do this, you will have 100 people coming to you. 80 of them will go ahead and just say, I don't need you. I'm going to do my thing. But 20 of them will say, you know what? I ain't got time. I'm going to go ahead and hire you. Now you go from 5 to 20 because you're offering the most value. In the church, I think sometimes it's just a matter of supply and demand. We don't have to get too overwhelmed with what this looks like. But I think it's just sitting down and thinking, okay, what are people not hearing about today? And how can I address this biblically? So when something happens that's relevant in Atlanta, maybe we talk about it instead of not hide from it. Hey, look, I know everyone's feeling this right now. We're just hush hush. We don't talk about it. But I want to talk about it and share this perspective, this biblical perspective. But this also goes back to what I talked about. A lot of leaders are scared of that heat, the judgment that comes with putting that out there. And it's so hard. This is why the first thing on here was mindset. You want to know how many pastors lit me up in that comment section when I was saying I was doing marketing for churches? I mean, a plethora. You snake oil salesman, like it was just a plethora. They was coming at me left and right. And I just was like, all right, we got to do it. And then I got really strategic. I was like, no, I got to reply to these people. I got to reply. We'll get messages sometimes from pastors like, hey, can you delete that comment? And like, I don't. All right, Pastor, you need to jump on there and you need to reply. You need to share your thoughts. You need to say, hey, brother, thank you so much for engaging. Here's where you're wrong, and here's where, yeah. That's what you need to do, because it's not just about you and that person. There's 100 other people looking at, oh, okay, wow, all right, right? And that stuff matters. So you won't do this if you're afraid of the judgment, and it's tough. Again, I am so empathetic to this. The more I talk to leaders, it's like they want to do this, and then they get to this point and they're like, man, I got my pastor friends on there. They're going to be looking at me. I might say something stupid. I might da-da-da. And it's just like they don't do it. They don't do it. And I always tell them, you're one video away from your entire church changing. I'll give you a real life example down the street. There's a minister named Pastor Anthony Phillip in 2819. He, very small ministry when they first kind of started, but he was very bullish of his online presence and content. He met with the team himself. He didn't hire no one. He's like, this is what we need to do. We need to And he knew he had something that was different, or a message that would resonate, but he also knew that I got to get attention or this ain't going to matter. And that's what he did, right? So it's hard because you got to really, am I ready for the comments? Am I ready to see my post get posted and then it reach only 7 people? And then I'm like, oh, that wasn't good. And you spent 2 hours on that post, by the way. You got to just keep it going, keep it going. Sometimes I tell pastors, all right, 7 people. Okay, not bad. If I had 7 people in the room with you, how would you feel? I'd feel a little honored that they're here listening to me. All right. What about 15 people? That's like a whole Starbucks now. So if you get 15 people reached on just think about that. If you get 100 people reached on a post, that'll fill up a whole sanctuary. Just sometimes we look at those numbers and we lose perspective. All right, let's move on. Number 5, advertising. Now this is our secret sauce. This one's tough because this is a skill set. Marketing is the umbrella that holds the things I just discussed: content, platforms, understanding attention, videos and stuff. But advertising is the skill set of buying attention inside of these big platforms that hold it. One of the ways, we sent probably 5,000 visitors to churches over the past 24 months. And one of the ways we do it is by going to these companies and trading dollars for results. And we speak the language to get the results. In fact, I believe how I was able to, I would dare say, I keep forgetting his name, Damon. Pastor Damon told Courtney about us because he saw the results and was like, wow, okay, I guess they're worthy enough to share or talk about. And what we were really good at is taking all of this and designing a campaign that does one thing, and it gets someone who is a complete stranger to you, your church, to plan a visit to the ministry. And we have honed in this thing. I mean, we'd have to be blind at this point not to know how to make this work, or at least get it to a really healthy place to where I sit down with you and you're like, all right, Kelby, so what's the deal? And I'm like, okay, every time you spend $27, a family plans a visit with your church. It'd be really good to know. And that's why we've been able to grow. All this fancy talk that I'm saying is great and it impresses, but at the end of the day, when I sit down with our clients that trust us, the only reason they keep working with us is because I know how to do this and send people to the door. So what does this mean? Organic growth is powerful. That means that all I just talked about up to now, you can just post for free. You don't got to pay nothing. You just post and it could pop off. You could go viral, right? Organic post is free, but paid advertising is the accelerator. It's like putting fuel on the fire. This is where you got to now look at the budget sheet and say, all right, do I want to now invest in social media? Or do I just want to play around with it? When you get to this point where you're willing to invest, that's when we now start accelerating. I'll put it to you like this. I've never ran an ad or any type of, I've never did a billboard, flyer, radio, mail out, anything for my company. I've only did social media. And I know because it is the number one place right now for paid advertising because of a couple things. One, it's where people are. It's where people are. People are not listening to the radio. People, watch this. All these fancy billboards in Atlanta is great. Half the people ain't even looking at the road there on their phone so much. They're not paying attention to those billboards. TVs are awesome. The moment a commercial comes on, watch what your children do. Watch what people do. They pull out that phone. I'm telling you, all the attention is on the internet and social media. And here's the cool thing. Right now, I am milking this because all the executives that sit on Pepsi and NFL and Geico are older boomers that still don't believe this to be true. So they sit down in a meeting like this and they're like, all right, we got 40 million to spend this year in marketing. We're going to do 20 million in billboards. We'll do another 5 million in TV ads. Then we'll put a little 2 in radio. And they are missing the low-hanging fruit of social. And that's because they grew up in this traditional way of thinking, well, we've always did TV. We've always did billboards. We've always did. And so that leaves us with a huge opportunity right now. A huge opportunity where I can take a church with $500 a month and have a real impact, to the point where that pastor is willing to take out his phone, record a video that says, my name is Pastor so-and-so. Listen, I've been with Crave Church Marketing for the past, these guys are the real deal. This is what happened. And they send it to me. And we have dozens of these testimonials on our websites from pastors talking about this. Because I understand the supply and demand of advertising right now. And it is a moment in time that will not be available for a long time. The moment millennials and younger people step into those C-suite executive positions in those offices in Manhattan and New York, they're going to say, why are we spending 40 million on bill? No, let's do 20 million on Hulu and Netflix, and let's do the other 20 million in Instagram. And then it's game over. Because now Instagram's going to be like, oh, our prices just went up. We got way more big boys playing now. So, you know, what used to cost you $7 to get someone to plan a visit, which by the way is a real number. We have churches that have spent $3, $4 to get a family to give us their name, email, phone number, tell us the Sunday they plan on visiting and who they're coming with for $4. That's going to go to 40 or 4. Very troubled young adult life growing up, was sent to prison as an adult at age 17 to SCDC, where I met a pastor who then became kind of like a spiritual father in my life. In fact, that was the youth pastor 10 years later that I was opening that ministry with and have been connected with. And by the grace of God, I had a revelation of, wow, the internet's not just a place where you can have fun and like escape your reality, but you can learn anything. And I just went on a rabbit hole of learning all these skills and leadership and consume. I don't get to sit here today with Billy Graham or Dr. Miles Monroe, but they're on the internet and I can listen to everything. I can put the audio books in. I can watch the videos. And it's like I am. And that was a huge moment for me, right? Changed my whole life, changed my entire life. Advertising is the fuel that I recommend every single one of you guys. I'll put it like this. You don't have to make a single post right now. But if you do this, you still will see results. Because it's such a great moment in history. Meaning, even if you don't have the fancy cameras and the light and you're producing content, it's all right. As long as if you can allocate $500, $700 a month to running ads on social media, you will win. Because it's that powerful right now. It's that powerful. Going to these companies. I'm not talking about hitting the boost button and giving them $30, crossing our fingers and hoping something good happens. Some of you might have tried that or seen that little feature. That's not what I'm talking about. This actually is a whole nother dashboard called business.facebook.com, where they actually allow you to build strategic campaigns to do one thing: get someone to sign up to plan a visit to your church, right? And it takes a skill set. It takes understanding forms, a little bit of psychology, your website, stuff like that. But it's worthy of looking into. Advertising on social media is the secret sauce of 2025, probably 2026 as well. I'll ask this question. Where do you think most executives, what do you think the social media platform of most executives and leaders spend? Where do you think they spend the most of their time? What was that? LinkedIn, that's a good one. What else? Facebook, that's a good one. Anybody else? YouTube, that's a good one. Instagram, that's a good one. What if I told you it was Twitter? Most CEOs, executives, and world leaders, politicians, their platform of choice is Twitter. You want to know what happened to Twitter just the past couple of years? Twitter got a new owner named Elon Musk. When Elon Musk took over, he had a lot of ideas about how this thing should operate, and he upset a lot of people. Some of those people he upset was its customers. Its customers were people like Disney, Apple, Microsoft. They were spending millions of dollars in advertising every year. They took that away from Twitter and said, we're not doing business with you. So Twitter was in a very vulnerable situation. You know what that meant for me? That means Twitter dropped their ads down to the cheapest I've ever seen. They're like, we are so vulnerable. You give me $5 and I'll show it to 1,000 people. And not just any random 1,000 people. But again, this is where most business leaders, executives, world leaders, politicians come to voice and share their thoughts. Very interesting. Yes, sir.
So X now has that same similar dashboard that Facebook does?
It does. Yep. It has an advertising dashboard. Yep. It is. It is. But it's not as good as an ad product. So Facebook, the reason why Mark Zuckerberg has to keep going in front of Congress every 2 years, and they sitting on there like, so how you know I was at the hotel and you're not telling us every time I log on, you trying to sell the thing that I just talked to my wife about. How y'all know this stuff? And he's like, sir, we're just a social media company. But really, really, Facebook is so good at data. You think they want you to put your relationship status because it's cute, or your birthday, or your kids? Nah, they know. Uh-oh, Kelby just got engaged. And then they go knock on all the businesses that sell wedding rings, and they're like, yo, he's ready. Give us some money and we'll put you in front of him. And those guys are like, bet, done. Right? Facebook is the best at this. There's no other company that even compares to Facebook's ad product. This is why we're so good at getting, right now I go to Facebook and I will get Facebook to find me everyone in Atlanta that either just moved to Atlanta or just started typing in churches near me on Google and they're searching. And then I want you to show them our church. And there's not a lot of platforms that can do that. Right? So Facebook has honed in their ad product and it's so good. It can target down to the T. Right? Again, sometimes it's scary how good they are. It's like, how they know? Now they selling this thing to me for 50% off. I didn't even tell them. Right? Advertising is the secret sauce. I would just encourage you to spend 2-3 hours over the next couple of months consuming some videos on how does social media advertising work. Going to read a post. How does these platforms do? What's the cost? How does it work? It doesn't mean you got to do it, but if you want to employ someone to do it and you sit down in a meeting, at least now you're a little educated a little bit about it, and you can actually see if they're telling the truth or they're just trying to sell you on something. Again, guys. Yes, sir.
No, I was just saying, one thing I noticed too is that now you can see stuff on Facebook because it's on the smart TV. Even the commercials that'll come on,
they're getting good.
I'll see it on Facebook, like I seen a Verbo commercial because and then I saw it then it came up on
TV.
TV.
They're getting good.
I don't know if they're targeting the commercial toward.
They probably are.
But I'm telling you, it's like
they're getting really good. And by the way, I appreciate it, and some of you guys appreciate it. Here's why: I don't care about makeup. I don't want to add about whoever Bella. I irrelevant. But show me an ad about, I don't know, kickboxing. Show me an ad about something business related and I'll appreciate it. By the way, this is the secret of how advertising with Meta works. They will reward, this is why we get hired. If you create good ads on their platform, and yes, sir, I'll get to you right here. If you create good ads on their platform, they will reward you by dropping your price. Right? Why? The number one thing they're scared of is people going onto Facebook and getting tired of seeing a bunch of ads that are not relevant to them. And now every time they log on, it's always trying to ask me for something and sell me something. So if you show up on their feed and you're offering value to someone with your ad, Facebook is going to love you for that so much that they offer you discounts on ads. This is why we get hired, because it's like we already know. We have the data of what's the best ad that a church should use right now. Right? You don't have to guess. And then we test a lot. We test a lot, meaning that I'll give them 5 scripts and I'll say, I need you to record these 5 videos. I'll take these 5 videos and show it to the same 1,000 people 3 times. And at the end of that session, we will see which video did the best. And the people will tell us, oh, we like this video the best. They'll tell us through their likes, comments, engagement. And then we turn off all other 4 and put the remaining budget on this one video. And that's how we win. We just keep doing that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I actually work with Reverend Courtney, and And so some of the issues that we have, like Facebook is trying to pay the advertising for religious organizations.
Uh-huh.
Have you had that issue? And like, how are you, if you are, how are you trying to?
Well, talk to me a little bit. Are you trying to target religious organizations? You're trying to target pastors? You're trying to target leaders? That's what I do for a living. Like, that's how my agency grows. Again, this is a whole skill set. I will tell you, the number one thing that I use is a pixel. This is again, when Mark Zuckerberg goes before Congress, he don't even explain to him the pixels and stuff. He's just like, Senator, we run ads and so like, but the truth is, how I bypass that is I use, number one, I lean into their algorithm. So I provide Facebook enough data about me that they know I'm after pastors, low key. I don't got to say it because that'll put them in a legal situation. But they know I'm after pastors. Like, oh, his church is called Creative Church Marketing. Oh, he gave me a list of 5 emails that all have pastors.
So you bypass the algorithm?
I modify the algorithm. I work with the algorithm. I work with it. So you use a pixel, you use a list, and you let the algorithm work, and then you reward the algorithm by kind of telling it that, hey, it did good on this one. Some of you have gotten in your feed a question that'll pop up like, did you enjoy that last post? Did you see, that's what they're doing. And then they go back to that guy or the advertiser and say, all right, you did good with that post. Or they say, no, that was bad. We're going to run your numbers up now. So how do you bypass that? Brings me to this number 6. Your website. In this scenario, I have built a website that I send. So I'll give you the whole blueprint. I will target 1,000 people that like Christian music, hoping that 7 of them are pastors. I am willing to risk being completely irrelevant to 993. I need to get the 7 to click and go to the website. Then the moment they get on my website, I go tell Facebook, hey, you see those guys on the website? That's who I'm trying to reach. And Facebook's like, got it. You only got to tell us no more. And that's what it does. So when you go look at my targeting, it doesn't say demographic this, age this. It's just wide open. The only thing it has on it it says is lookalike audience. And that's kind of a secret language to communicate to the algorithm that, hey, I want you to find people that look like the people on the website. And they're like, all right, we got you. So that's how we bypass. Again, that's why I say number 5 is a real skill set of just learning about algorithms, those different things. Yes, ma'am. A pixel is a tracking code that is installed on millions of websites all over the internet. So I'll put it to you like this. If any of you right now go type in a hotel and you click on several hotels, the next moment you get on Instagram, you are going to be shown hotel ads. That is because all of those hotels have pixels installed on them. And the pixel is just a way to communicate with the algorithm without telling them. So it's using AI a little bit and machine learning. And so a pixel is just a fancy code that no one can see, that sits on a website or landing page, that speaks back to the algorithm. And it speaks back a bunch of stuff. It speaks back, okay, this person just spent 7 seconds on this website and then bounced. Oh, this person just spent 2 minutes on the website and then clicked a button. Okay, this person just signed up and gave us their name, email, and phone number. It studies everything. Now, the trade-off is you are giving the algorithm all your information. The good thing about it is you are giving a partner your information to know more about what you need. And that's what we do. And then we've done it so well by just working with 150 churches that now we know exactly how to speak to the system. We're like, all right, here's the situation. Go do your thing. Right? So that's what a pixel is. Yes, ma'am.
These auto DMs.
Uh-huh.
DM me here.
Yes.
And I will respond with,
Yeah.
okay, mine have failed over and over. The response never goes out automatically.
Mm.
What platform should I be using to do that?
There's a lot. I haven't looked into it. I have a black hat company, which is again it's called a black hat company called Jarvie. It's very technical, and it's a software that is installed on a website and installed on your computer. But It's black hat because you're doing stuff that Facebook doesn't like. So I don't.
It's on Instagram.
Yep, yep. I don't really have there's a bunch out there. I don't have any that I can recommend right off the top. But who knows? Maybe we'll have something, and I don't know. I'll get your contact info, and maybe we can send you something if I find it. But anyways, let me share with this, and let's go into some more Q&As real quick. Number one, your website. All right, you done got their attention. You done did the content. You got the videos. You got that. Now where are you taking them? This is another big thing. This is how we win. And I wish I can share with you actually a real example. I wonder, is that on? Can I? I'm going to share with you our exact funnel here. Let's go to Safari, I think. Uh-oh. There we go. All right, let's type in creative. Creative. I can't. Church. Okay. I'm going to talk about a couple of things here with websites to just share with you my secret sauce for building websites. More importantly, how to make them effective. I think today most people want websites that are cute and look good. And that's really the only thing they want, is I just wanted to look good, because they don't know how to make it really effective. And then I'll share with you some hacks that we use for churches to make their website really effective. Number one is you have to realize people are inherently lazy, especially if it's on their time, and especially if they're on their phone. They don't want to work. They don't want to sit there and think. They don't want to have to do a whole lot. So bold and clean fonts. Sometimes we sit down with a minister who's, a little more old school, and they got the fancy gold and purple with the cursive, and I'm like, Pastor, look, we gotta stick to something clean, because now I gotta go get my reading glasses, and we just want something clean, easy to consume, right? So bold and clean fonts, big believer in that. So that way people just look and they know exactly, right? Video. Having a video on the website is so important. Someone shows up and you can have them search through 7 pages to learn more, or you can give them a little video of you welcoming them and speaking to them. We make every church that signs up with our agency record this video. Pastor opens up the video with, hey, thank you so much for taking the time and just coming and visit our website. My name's Pastor so-and-so, and I just want to thank you for doing this. Let me share with you a little bit about us and kind of what you can expect on this website. And then they'll go into sharing some things, and at the end of it, they'll have a call to action. I really would hope to see you this Sunday, but if not, no worries. Just whatever you can find here, I hope it blesses you, right? A video is so important on your website. I think every single website should have that. The second thing is social proof. Now, I just alluded to this earlier, but social proof. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. Numbers are powerful. Numbers are powerful. Well, Kelby, how do I use numbers? Well, maybe if you're a church and you have a decent footprint, maybe you can say at the top of the website, trusted by Atlanta residents for over 30 years. Atlanta families for over 30 years. That's way better than the mission statement that's just sent here to bring the gospel and build because at the end of the day, which one speaks to people, and especially in the case where you're trying to get someone to take a step of faith to come to your church. So using social proof, you can do this through numbers, and you can do this through people and faces. Yes, sir.
For a church plant, who has been around 30 years,
Uh-huh.
how would you recommend?
For a church plant, your number one thing you want to lean into, because you're not going to have social proof yet, is you personally, who you are, and authenticity. Authenticity. Sometimes we'll meet with pastors that are church planners, and they're like, they want to present themselves as if they are Elevation, as if they are Bishop at the house, and it's like, but you're not that yet. So what you really need to do is your video needs to literally say, we are a church plant. I just planted this 6 months ago. I'm looking for these people to come along, and you just need to be as transparent as possible of what you're looking for. There are a group of people out there that don't want to be another number in a big church, right? There's another group of people out there that are like, you know what, in this season, I want to give back, and I feel like God's calling me. I have this gift. I have nowhere to use it, or I don't know where to go. And then you show up and they're like, wow, maybe this minister actually I can partner with them. I can come alongside with them. Maybe they'll care enough to like see if this is something they can help develop in me. There are a lot of people like that, right? So if you don't have social proof, lean into something else. But you can always find ways to use social proof. You know, been in ministry for over 10 years. You can just find ways to do this, right? Been a part of, I don't know, Atlanta for 30 years, living here for 30 plus years. Things like that, right? Now, let me see if this takes us to what I hope it does. That's right. Funnels. Funnels is this idea. Let me see if I can, if it'll let me zoom. Maybe it won't. By the way, I'm a Microsoft guy, so I wonder this command. And oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, perfect. So uh-oh. Can you scroll to the top? Uh-oh. Just zoom back in for me. It's okay. There, right there. Right. You can leave right there. Yeah, that's perfect. All right. So this is what I call a part of our funnel, our system. I do not send pastors just to our website. Never have I ran an ad and sent them directly to our website. I send them to a specific page that speaks to them. And here recently, I've gotten even more strategic about it, and I send them to just this page. There is no other buttons. There's no buttons at the top, no menu, about us, all that stuff. It's overwhelming. And you give a lot of people options to do things, and like next thing you know, they're like, oh, I think I went to school with pastor's wife, and they're on her Facebook page now, and they originally came just to sign up and learn more about the church, right? So I cut out the noise, and I just narrow it down to a couple things. In this case, I say, which best describes your church? And I give 3 buttons here. Tell me about you. Are you starting fresh, your church plant? Are you leading a small, medium-sized church, maybe under 150? Or are you a bigger church with over 150? Why am I doing this? Because I believe the future of websites is speak to the person that's on your page. Speak to them as if you know already who they are. Right now, our websites are designed to reach and talk to everyone. And that's not true. The wife and the husband don't think the same. The 18-year-old and the 32-year-old don't speak the same. They don't think the same. And so if you can find ways to make your website speak differently to certain audiences, you will be more effective with this. So this is a part of the funnel system that we use. So for example, if I click here, it'll take to a specific page. You don't need to be a mega church to make a mega impact. And it has a video right here and some cool design and stuff in the back. But I know this page is just catered to speaking to churches who are church plants. If I go back though, and I click on, let's see here, we're a larger church. You will see this one says your team has given their best, but is your church's online presence growing in influence or just maintaining? It speaks differently to this person, all right? And that's how you have to think about sometimes your website. I got good news for you. There are 2 people coming to your church website. There is, let's go to Chosen CSRA. Let's see what happens here. And we'll look at their example. There are 2 people coming to here. This is a client of ours, been with us 3 years, voted one of the fastest growing churches in Georgia almost 2 years in a row. And he has given us a ton of credit for this. We have probably have had 1,000 people almost plan a visit to their ministry, and they've just crushed it. 2 people that I mostly see through the data. One is your congregation members that are coming to check events, give their tithes, or maybe watch a sermon, but most of them will go to YouTube. All right, well, let's make that real easy for them to just find that stuff. The other is new people. They're coming to your website because their auntie told them about the church. They found you on Google. They saw something. All right, so if we know those are our 2 audiences, let's try to cater this to them. Number 1 is we try to put right here a big button that speaks directly to our first timers. You know, it'll either say plan your visit, or I'm new, or be our special guest, right? And I don't have to let them start scrolling before I show this to them. Remember, people are lazy. They don't want to, I don't want to go menu and find and dig through 4 sub menus just to get to, just give me the button that I need to go to, right? Be our special guest. And then when you click this, it takes to a page that looks like this. And you'll notice a couple things on this page. Number 1, social proof. No fancy stock photos. But what's also strategic about this is that I know for Chosen Church, they have, their main audience is mid-age African-American women. So I already know she's on the page. By the way, I also know she's usually the one that's making the decision for the family to either visit the church or not. Even if the husband saw it, he'll say, hey, I saw this church, let's go check them out, see if there's something we want to visit. So I know she's kind of the decision maker. So when she shows up here, let's show her other people that look like her, right? Big plan your visit button. And then down here is something we do strategically with all of our churches. We've really pushed for this. My number 1 goal is to relieve anxiety from people that come to want to visit our church, especially if they're first-time guests. You got to imagine, you are taking a stranger and you are trying to convince them to come to a strange building with other strange people and listen to a strange man on stage. That's a lot of anxiety. And bring their kids with them. That's a lot of anxiety. So how do we relieve that a little bit? Well, I got a good hack for you. Give them a tour of the church. Give them a virtual tour of the church, right? So if you play this video, you'll see a young lady here walking us through the ministry.
Hi, my name is Danny Parks, and I went to my...
Walking us through the ministry, sharing the sanctuary, sharing... by the way, I don't want you to think, oh, that's a big church, they can do that. No, we small churches too. Pastor, pull out your cell phone and just walk through. This is this, and just circle around, and this is our area that we hang out. This is where your kids will be. This is where we have coffee. This is where we do worship. You want to relieve the anxiety of people, and one of the best ways to do that is make them feel like they've already been to your church. It's a hack. Make them feel like they've already been to your church, even though they haven't stepped a foot in. They'll feel a lot more comfortable about showing up. All right, I'll share with you another ministry that we do this, that you can see of light. I hope their website shows up. Let's see here. Here's a lot of City of Lights. City of Light. Where? Oh, was that it? No. My City of Light? Maybe that is it. Yeah, that is it. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Google. All right, so here we go. Here's another website that we helped put together for a client, and kind of same thing. You got this plan your visit page, catered to first-time visitors. You got this easy what to expect, right? Relieving anxiety in here. We're telling them about what they should expect. We're answering questions. We're talking about different things. We got down here kind of a sermon series they're in, and then there it is right there. A virtual tour.
Welcome to
Come hang out, right? We'll show you what it's like here. Then we got, let us help you plan your visit, and then a nice form here that says we'll meet you at the front door, introduce you around, give you a tour. By the way, here's a hack. Most churches will put forms on their website. Don't nobody feel like filling that thing out. They don't know who you are. They don't want to give you your personal cell phone number. So you got to stack reasons on why they should give you that stuff. So we stack reasons. Hey, why should you get this? We'll meet you at the front door. We got a guest services team waiting on you. We'll introduce you around, right? Is this your first time? Let's go show you the sanctuary. We'll show you the kids' ministry. We'll give you a tour of the church. We'll save a seat for you in the auditorium. You know how many people walk in the auditorium and they froze. They don't know where to sit. I don't want to sit in pastor's seat. I don't want to sit in these people's seat. It's okay. Fill this form out. We'll take care of all that. And they'll fill it out. Right? If we can stack the reasons, but if you just put contact us, and then you got this plethora of like, give us your phone number, your birthday, they're like, nah, I ain't doing that, right? So your website is very important. You don't have to overthink it. If you can just remember those 2 audiences, you have your congregation that are coming there, and then you have your visitors, your new people that are coming there. So, yeah, that's a little bit about kind of how we approach websites. There's definitely some more stuff that we could go into, but no, it's 5:30. We probably answered all the questions that we had, but if you had anything else, now's the time to ask.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
When you were talking about algorithms, once I just wanted to ask you, As far as I noticed that on the social media platforms, on certain days, there's certain kind of content on that day.
Yeah.
Is that valid?
Yeah, a strategy is good. It's not a make or break. The real question is it valuable? Is what I'm posting valuable? Like I'll get asked, how many times should we post, Kelby? It's like 8 times a day if you want, if you can. But if you only are going to post 8 boring, asking stuff, flyers, come join this, then don't do that, right? So, Motivational Monday, Throwback Thursday, all those are great as long as those Throwback Thursdays are valuable. They follow under the 3 E's, or the Motivational Monday falls under the 3 E's. I think all that's great. It doesn't win or gain favor with the algorithm, but it doesn't hurt neither.
Yeah, because I notice like sometimes on Mondays you just see all spiritual stuff or something like that on
Yeah.
Instagram, and then on
Yeah.
Friday it's something different.
Yeah.
And each day is different. But I was,
That's right.
Don't you think, I'm sorry, if somebody was in here. Sometimes I see some people's stuff and it's overkill.
Yeah.
Are you saying that this is not 8 times a day, it's not overkill? It's like, okay, I get your message already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm tired of seeing this
Yeah.
same ad. Like, it's
That's
too
right.
much.
That's right. And what that has to do with is it's not valuable enough to be showing up on my timeline 8 times.
Okay.
That's really what it is. If it's valuable enough, people won't have a problem. I'll even say this, some people will wish that you made more stuff because they like it. So it really boils down to that one V word. Is this valuable, right? So I obsess over that. You can post as much as you want. As long as it's valuable, you will win. But if it starts getting overkill because they're just saying the same thing over and over, or repeating something, or it's not even that good, they're just posting to post, then that's when it starts going bad. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, I thought you raised your hand.
So in addition to the, excuse me, the algorithms and the marketing, advertising, you all actually build websites as well?
Correct. We build the websites and funnels and things like that, put these together for pastors. And what was that?
You host the site?
Yeah, GoDaddy. We use GoDaddy to host the site. Very popular public company. They have a great server system. Yep. All right.
Are you still gonna stay around for dinner?
Sure, y'all. What's
We have dinner planned.
okay? Yeah, we'd love to. We'd love to.
Italian.
Hey, thank you guys.